Well, hey everyone. Welcome to Telling Tall Tales the Right Way. I am your host, Heather Asiyanbi. And in case you are unfamiliar with what we do here, I talk about all the elements of every great story, and they do apply to every great story, whether it's a children's book, nonfiction, fiction, doesn't matter. All the elements apply, and we apply them to popular books or TV series, or maybe it's an episode of a TV series, or it could be any number of things. I am I am the editor of several adult nonfiction bestsellers. I'm also a certified master storyteller. And I've been telling stories on digital platforms for decades, honestly. I am a journalist. I've worked in marketing. I've worked in PR. Sometimes I've done them all, depending on what my 9 to 5 was and what I was freelancing for. At any rate, I love a good story. I don't care if I'm reading it, watching it, hearing it. I love a good story. And so today, because I can't believe I'm this lucky, but last season, Dr. Tachi, who is one of the founders of Indie Soup Media, she and I gushed and teeheed all over Queen Charlotte. And today she is joining me again. And we're going to talk about Survival of the Thickest, which aired on Netflix. So without further ado, here's Dr. Tachi.
Hello.
Welcome.
How are you? Thank you. Thank you for having me back.
Thank you for saying yes. I took your advice last season, and having a guest is not only super fun, but it does take a lot of the pressure off.
It does, right? You get to bounce ideas off of each other. I love guests.
And let's just be clear for everyone. We don't rehearse this. Like, we didn't meet earlier today to be like, okay, we're going to talk about X, and then you say this, or I say, we don't do that. It's all in the moment, spontaneous. Here we go. All right. So we're talking about Survival of the Thickest. And I found this graphic,
yes,
courtesy of Netflix. So you can't see my mouse when I move it around on the screen, which is annoying because I thought you could. But the woman with the skirt on and the beautiful hair over with the words Survival of the Thickest, Michelle Buteau, she is the creator and the star of this show. And she stars as Mavis Beaumont. And the squares around her. So you see Michelle is in the lower left-hand corner. If you go directly, we're going to go to the right. That is, we'll just call them by their character names because I don't know all the actors and actresses.
Right.
All that up. So we have her best friend Khalil.
Yes.
And then her other best friend. Oh, why did I just blank on her name? Dr. Tachi, what's her name?
I know her real actor name.
I know Tasha, right? That's her real name.
Right.
I think it's India.
I think it is.
Maybe. Dang it. Let me give it a Google.
I'm looking for it now. I'm going to give it
a Google.
Yeah. India, no.
Mavis
India is. Why am I not remembering her name?
India is Khalil's girlfriend, right? India Blue. No, we're right.
Correct. That's Khalil's girlfriend.
No. Tasha Smith is it India Blue.
No. Tasha. Is that right?
Yeah, played by Tasha Smith.
Okay, then I guess we're right.
That doesn't feel right. Like, I felt like
it doesn't feel right. Something doesn't feel right.
No, it doesn't. But okay, let's just go with it.
We're gonna, and I'll do some deeper dive to.
Friend on. Oh my God, this is terrible. This is live TV, y'all. Here we are. Simone. No.
Simone. Yes, I was like,
nope. Simone is played by Tika Sumpter.
Okay, so yes, that's the one who Khalil is seeing. That is the art dealer.
Yeah. Marley. Marley is her name, not India. Google, what the heck? Okay. It's Marley. So then we have Mavis in the lower left-hand corner, her male best friend Khalil, and her female best friend Marley. Those are the three central characters. Now, the boxes above them, starting, we have I don't remember what her character name is, but we all know her from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Right, and the Jamie Foxx show.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then next to her, we have Simone, who is Khalil's girlfriend until she's not. Right. Next to her, we have Diamond, I believe her name is.
Yes.
And then we have Jacques. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Okay. And then we have Luca. Okay.
Oh, so it's not Diamond, it's Peppermint.
Peppermint. I knew it was some that's a good drag queen name. Anyway, she's not a drag queen, she's trans, my bad. So these are the primary characters. We are not going to focus too much on that upper row because they kind of come in and out.
Right.
Other than Luca, I think he plays Jacques. I have to click after him because he's so fine. Anyway, so he plays a big part in season 1, and then Luca is more season 2. Okay.
Correct.
All right. Getting rid of that. All right, here we are. Okay. So, survival of the thickest.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the primary characters. Now, full disclosure. I watched this show on your recommendation because you were like, remember I asked you, like, would you like to come? Could I entice you to come back for another episode or two?
Yeah.
It's 2-parter. And you were like, yes. And I was like, well, what do you want to talk about? And you said survival of the thickest. Okay. I watched it. I binged it. I binged season 1. I took like a little break of a couple days, and then I binged season 2. I'm going to tell you, honestly, I didn't laugh at all during season 1.
Okay.
I didn't. I did laugh in season 2 had laugh out loud a couple times, right? Not even like a little, but like a full on, that's funny.
Yes.
But the reason why, what did you think of season 1 first?
So here's the thing with me and series. Generally in season 1, it's accepted that season is just about getting their grounding in their wings, right? And I saw now again, this is after the fact. Right. I saw where was this? They were in New York, and I can't remember what event they were at, but the whole cast of Survival of the Thickest was there. This was leading up to season 2 and talking about what was going to happen. And Michelle Buteau basically said that her whole thing of doing everything of being not only acting in it, but also creating this is so that these stories could get told. Because they may not be told any other way, right? So rather than waiting for somebody to green light this, you just go ahead and do it yourself, right? And so that was her primary thing. And in that, I realized that there's going to be a little bit of finding your grounding. Now, not that I necessarily laughed in season 1 either, but I saw it more as it was a comedy, but more dramedy. Does that make sense? So
yeah, for sure. I would share that. Yeah, I would share that opinion. I was also intrigued how they would handle the body positivity aspect of it. And so I watch TV and then I got to go read about TV. That's a thing for me. I don't.
Okay.
No. So I couldn't figure out like why I felt so not super great about this show. Now, do I think the acting is good? I do. I think Michelle Buteau is delightful and gorgeous, and I want her hair.
She's a hair crush, definitely.
I have a hair crush for sure, and a fashion crush also because the outfits that she wears are they're stunning.
But that's actually what she does. She's a stylist.
Of course.
So it makes sense. Right? Yes.
It goes with the character. But I was reading about it, and this is kind of where I felt a little validated in my feelings. Number one, I don't think that having only 8 episodes of a half an hour each was enough to tell the story. It didn't develop those side characters enough to give us more about Marley. Like, my feeling is, I think, oh God, this sounds terrible, but here we are. I feel like whenever Tasha Smith is in something, she just basically plays the same character over and over again. And the only way that this one was different is that she's queer, right? And that in of itself was not enough to make her compelling. And so what I really would have liked is to do maybe 8 episodes of an hour each, or even 16 episodes of a half an hour each, so that, you know, that follows more of a traditional sitcom format, so that, like, yes, you know, Mavis remains the primary character, but I felt like we learned way more about Khalil as a person than we ever did Marley, right? I feel like he was given a little bit more space and time for the audience to get to know and love him on our own, and not just as a reflection of Mavis's best friend.
You know, and I can appreciate what you're saying. Not that Tasha Smith or Marley is a throwaway character. I don't think. Now, by the way, I don't think the name Marley fits her. This is probably why we're having such a hard time remembering her name. She does not read a Marley. I would have even gone with just call her Tasha. So, but, you know, I wouldn't say Tasha Smith is a throwaway character, but I agree that there's something not as compelling yet. So another thing that came out in this interview is that, you know, you don't know whether or not you're going to get renewed for a season 2. So you find a way to tell the story, and however many you have been greenlit for, and then if you get more, then you can go back. And this is probably why you're saying season 2, you laughed more, because it's like, we have another season. We can actually do more and do something more with this story. Whereas that first season, she had no clue whether or not they were going to be renewed. So you have to tell the story and the 8 episodes, and that's all you may have. So you plan on that. So I think the writing and the approach was from, we don't know that we're going to get another season, so let's do what we can with what we have here. And you're right. In half an hour, it's very difficult to tell the story. Another thing I would say, I like the fact that they really covered Khalil, because there is a lot there. 100%. And you don't often see Black men as characters get covered to that depth. Usually when you see things like this, okay, you think, for example, Sex and the City, and I've heard a lot of comparisons in terms of that, right? Where the male characters are secondary, and they don't have to be primary. But here you have a male character who is an integral part of the life of a main character.
Yes.
I like that they went in depth in him. They went into the therapy, and I loved that. I'm like, wow. Now, is that going to change in real life?
I also enjoyed that aspect immensely, especially when he's having the conversation with his boys on the basketball court. And he's like, well, you know, he's so reluctant to say the word, right? And then when he finally spits it out, therapy, they're like, oh, duh, we're all in therapy.
We're all therapy.
You know, like,
exactly.
And, you know, and he's like, why would you never say anything? And they're like, well, you didn't ask. You know?
And this is the thing too. We have to look at it generationally. They're all millennials.
Yeah.
Mid to maybe younger millennials, because they're all like about to turn 40. Yeah. So for Gen Xers, there would never have been a thing about talking about therapy. Well, what the hell's wrong with you? So it just really is a testament to millennials and Gen Z, and how therapy is more of an accepted thing, because again, Michelle Buteau is writing as a millennial, so she's writing from her standpoint. So that's the type of thing that I think is refreshing to see. So I really like that in terms of the writing. She does make bad decisions. You and I both know how I hate bad decision making in characters.
She does, but I think it's what I really appreciated about going back to the whole body positivity, speaking about mental health thing, is that when they show her in these relationships, like, they're not with like heavier set, dumpy kind of dudes. Like these guys are hot.
And here within is the thing. Absolutely. I think that the message there is that despite, or not even despite, regardless of what your size is, that you are worthy of love, you are worthy of attention, you are worthy of a good relationship. And here's the thing.
And really good sex, apparently, too.
Yeah, apparently so. Because the thing is, at the end of the day, sometimes, and like if you talk to some men, we put, even though these are societal constraints that are put in place by misogyny and patriarchy that we internalize, not everybody does. And so while we have that internalized misogyny and internalized patriarchy, men are like, I don't give a damn. I don't care. You know what I mean? So I think sometimes it's projecting what society has told us. Right. And it doesn't mean it's not an issue, and it doesn't mean it doesn't happen. But I'm glad that she deals with it in that way, because there's so many men who that's not even a thing, you know?
Okay. Yes. But let's recap season 1's plot.
Okay, let's do that.
So the plot of season 1 is that I'm going to bring up our graphic. So we have Mavis, lower left-hand corner.
Yes.
And Jacques.
And I'm pointing like you can see, but yeah.
I know you can't see it. But okay. He is the second man from the right, right? Darker on the top row. They are in a relationship in season 1. And it's so fun. I did laugh when, okay, I take it back. I did laugh one time out loud in season 1. And it's when, so she's on the phone, and she's like, every single one of us who's coming home after a busy day, not really paying attention to her surroundings. She's just got to get in. She's got to pee, right? Got to go to the bathroom. And she walks through her bedroom, and Jacques is having sex with another woman. But because she's on the phone and she has to pee so bad, she doesn't really like note that's what's going on.
She does. It's not processing.
Yeah. But she goes in and she sits down to like use the facility, and she's like, wait a minute. Excuse me. And that's what starts the season 1 plot process of going. So in terms of the world in which this takes place, it's New York. I feel like, unlike some other series that are set in New York, I'm thinking about Suits in particular, not the crime shows, but like Suits, even Sex in the City, even though I don't really like any of those characters. I don't. You know, but the city itself seems to be like a character also in some of those other shows. I didn't really feel like New York played as much of a character in this, which is neither here nor there. I'm just noting it, right? But the world in which this takes place in is our normal modern world. We have planes, trains, automobiles, cell phones, AI, all the things, right? Like it is our normal world. So there's no hesitation about being able to sink into the world that this takes place in, because it's the world we know. Even if you don't live in New York, it's still a modern world. And then, so the primary conflict and resolution in the first one is the discovery that Jacques is cheating on her, and then they're back and forth, which I talked to a couple other people who watched the series, and they were like, oh my God, why does she keep going back and forth? I'm like, because that's real life. Like, that's what we do in real life. When someone hurts us, and it's our life partner who we think we're going to be together forever through thick and thin, you know, I don't think it's unusual to do that back and forth. So to me, that just felt super realistic.
Yeah, I guess I'm the only one that's like, bye. But anyway,
I'm not saying that that's not true, right? But to me, it felt realistic, especially because she does lack a certain amount of self-esteem and self-awareness.
Right, exactly. She does. And then the whole thing is too, she's invested time into this. I think sometimes people look at relationships like a project, and I've put so much time into this, it doesn't make any sense to just let it go now. Let's see how we can work this through or work this out or whatever the case may be.
Right.
And so yeah, we could scream at the screen, the hell, why would you? But in actuality, knowing the type of character she is,
Yeah.
I can understand why she did go back, or I should say, allowed him back in her life.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so Mavis, as Dr. Tachi noted, she is a fashion stylist who up until the point where we're dropped into her life, she has been working primarily in like for photo shoots. So she styles the models and helps come up with like the backgrounds and that sort of thing. And so that's her life. But when she discovers her boyfriend's betrayal, that kind of sends her into a tailspin, because not only does she break up with him, but now she's kind of broken up with her career. And she's like, because all the people she knows that she's worked with also work with Jacques, right? And she's like, I can't be going to the same places where he is and dealing with that. Like, I can't do it. And so she branches off into like a different, she's still styling, but she's more focused on making sure that she is styling women who are curvier, more voluptuous, and can still feel beautiful in the styles that are featured on runways.
But we also, though, the character played by Garcelle Beauvais is Natasha Karina. So she was styling or like being a personal assistant / styling her. Yeah. And I can't remember exactly when and where the crossroads of that was, but if I'm not mistaken, when she and Jacques were still together, she was doing work for her too. Am I not mistaken?
I think no, because I think because her and Jacques broke up like the first episode.
They did, exactly.
And then she meets Natasha like in episode 2, I believe. And you've got to style her she doesn't even really know why she's styling her, but she's like trying to figure out like what she wears. She finds out it's for a funeral.
Yes.
And it's for her actual, it's for her ex-husband.
Right.
And exactly. She makes this like grand, in this gorgeous, like sparkled, strapless gown that hugs her like a glove and makes her look like a goddess.
Yes.
And, she goes up to the front of the church and she, I think she puts like a vibrator or something in the casket with him and like makes her thing. And because of the press that's garnered by this one appearance at her ex-husband's funeral, she wants Mavis to be her for real stylist.
Yes. That's it. Yes.
She wants her exclusive attention. And Mavis really kind of struggles with that decision. This is where I was yelling at the TV. I was like, girl, you don't have a job. Take the job.
Okay. But again, let's look. This makes sense. We have to look at the millennial Gen Z mindset. These are the people that will quit with a Post-it note on your computer screen and be like, and say something. They don't care. They don't give a damn. They don't give a damn. So that makes sense in the fact of their happiness is paramount. And they want to make sure that whatever the decision is they're making work-wise fosters that happiness. Yeah. So that's why, anybody else would be, I don't have a job. Let me take this, even if it's for 2 seconds. But there was a real point of, should I? So
you're right.
Saying, well, take the job. Yeah, that's what older generations say. Yeah. Take the job because the stability and you get used to that stability. Younger generations are like, God will provide.
Yeah. Okay. That's an excellent point. Generational separation and different standpoints. Okay. I can buy that for $1.
Okay. $2.
But at the same point, I was also cheering. I'm like, yeah, go do your thing, because on a personal note, my mother, who is a boomer, has been like, don't you want to get a job? And I'm like, I have a job. And she's like, no, a real job.
See,
like, I'm not asking you for money, ma'am. Why are you worried about me being like
And here's the interesting thing. So my parents were silent generation.
Oh,
so they just waited a long time to have kids.
yeah.
So while my parents should have been boomers, they weren't. They were like silent generation.
Okay.
So they really didn't have time for rubbish.
Yeah.
And they really were like,
but they're also Nigerian, which is a whole,
that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, that's a whole different level.
Whole different level. So silent generation Nigerian parents, that's a whole different thing. Absolutely. So this whole, I don't know, that wasn't going to work. Right. So there's a different mindset altogether. And the thing is, I like that Michelle Buteau is savvy enough to realize that she's just writing as she writes, but she also realizes in doing some character development, etc., this is how it would be. I think it would be, you may have the one-off, obviously, that I need this stability, I need that, because there's no absolute in any generation. But the marker of generation is often attitudes. So I think it would have been disingenuous for her to not consider whether or not she wanted to take that,
I don't disagree with that at all. So as she's navigating like the world of work and her self-development, she's got to, because her and Jacques shared a place, so now she's got to move out, she's got to find her own place. She finds this really weird, quirky person who puts olive oil on everything. I don't know what the point of that was. It was weird. But it shows her like developing, like she's building a life, and it's completely different than anything she thought it was going to be, which I thought was kind of fabulous that they got that she is writing and portraying a woman who is really, I mean, she's got to operate somewhat within the parameters of, societal norms and whatever, but mostly she's okay with missteps and mistakes because they're her missteps and mistakes.
Correct.
And she's okay with that. And I found that to be refreshing because mostly we only see male characters having the freedom to do that.